Yo, what's good, duelists? We have another video for you today. So this one's going to be the top 8 results from a regional in Paraguay. This regional is really interesting to me because one of every deck actually ended up getting top 8. So I think that's just a sign how diverse this format really is. A regional will literally, although we've seen at YCS's Unchained dominate, at a regional we'll still see like one of every deck do well. Maybe Unchained's not as like prevalent in Swiss, or maybe just not that many people at this regional didn't play it. But what I really thought was cool too is we see a elemental hero list actually getting top 8 at a regional, something I haven't seen in a minute. So we'll go through. So first place, of course, it's going to be Unchained. Unchained is just the deck to beat right now. He actually did main 3 Droll Knockbirds. He did go with the Tour Guide engine. He goes with 2 Water Guy. Anything else? We're maining 2 Talents and then 3 Imperms. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12. Kind of 14 non-engine is kind of the trend I see with pretty much every Unchained list, just running that 14 non-engine in the main deck. And then we've seen players actually gravitate towards 41. I know Jesse Cotton was playing 41. We got 2 of the DDD, and this one's actually not running the Dark Contract, but we're still running the Nightmare Griffin combo in this build. And then we have the 3 Bells for the Labyrinth deck, 3 Book of Moons for the Cash matchup, or Pearly, the 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance for the Floodgates going first, because we already have 3 D-Barriers, because D-Barrier is just the Stones, and then 3 Evenlies also for the, maybe Labyrinth matchups and just like decks that go wide on the board. Maybe even like Tier Laments is another deck that came to mind. Then we got Kashtira coming in second place. So Kashtira, we're always looking for just something a little different because we've been looking at these lists for so long now. He was maining Droll, so Droll is actually really prevalent at this regional. I wonder why. Maybe Vanadium's actually popular here. For the extra deck, we're actually running the BLS link, pretty much one of every XYZ besides Shangri-La, and we're actually running Omega, which is pretty crazy to me. It's interesting that they would run Omega in the deck, but that's really just for the prosperity. Just seems like it's not that much value. Then we have 3 summon limits in the side. Summon limit I actually think is insane right now as a side deck card, but it can mess you up as well if they break your board. But I do think summon limit's a really good card for Floodgate right now. Dimensional Barrier, because that's just the best card ever. It's a Floodgate that's not even continuous. 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. If you've watched my videos in the past, you've seen that I've said that pretty much everyone's just trending towards Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster, because you don't want to just like get a 1-up value off Cosmic Cyclone. Although in versus Unchained, you're not really siding either anyway. And then we have 2 Kaijus and 3 Bell for the Labyrinth matchup. So I do think if you were running 3 Bell, I would probably consider actually running Cosmic, just because you already have the Bell. And then Cosmic, maybe at a regional, you're going to play a matchup like Runic, which would be really good verse. Any deck playing Anti-Spell Fragrance, or even a deck that's playing like Summon Limit, you definitely want Cosmic 4. But like I said, 2 versus Labyrinth, I would just save the Cosmic for the Floodgate. And then we have a Branded Despia. So Branded Despia is like a deck that I'm really surprised I haven't actually seen more of. I actually think Branded Despia is still really good. We got the Gimmick Puppet in the main for this deck. That's kind of crazy. We have the Dogmatica Maximus as well. That's another crazy one. Maximus is just so good here because we have Garura. If you've seen, like, the Fire King deck was actually playing Maximus. But he's actually not running the Garura for the Maximus because, like, the branded effects are just too strong. Just resolving Albion Unphase. He's actually running a Link and a Synchro, but I do not know what those cards are. But I'm assuming those are just meant for the Maximus. Or maybe the Synchro is actually the Despia Synchro. That's what I would guess. Is he running Thrust in the main? It's interesting, he's running like 1 Talents, 1 Dark Ruler, 1 Herald of Abyss with no Thrust in the deck. Obviously, we got the 3 Nadir Servants, the 1 Maximus. This is a 45-card list with 2 Fenrir. This list is kind of wild. We have the 1 Dark Magician for the Dragoons. We have 1 of each Bestial. That's also really weird in the side for me. 3 of Book of Eclipse, 3 of Cosmic, 3 of Evenly. It's kind of just like a staple side. And then we're also running Fusion Deployments. 2 Cartasia. Everything else is pretty standard. Only 1 Libellion. Called by in the main for going first. It's a lot of 1-ups. Oh, we are running Thrust. Okay, that makes sense. I can't believe I didn't notice that. It was right next to Talents. Alright, and then we have Dragon Link, so 40 cards. A lot of Dragon Link players have actually ran more than 40 cards in the past. He's running 3 of the Dark Kaiju, actually. He is running Baldrake, Druis Worm, so 6 card Bestial package, not including the Libellion, that would make it 9. We're running 3 Dark Rulers as our non-engine, so 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Nibiru, 3 Kaijus, 1 Fallen of Albaz, that's pretty crazy for the Heretic Seal. It's pretty good as just like another interrupt, rather than just summoning Magnum for follow-up, he's actually summoning a card with an effect. Anything, I'm assuming that's just a time card on the side. I wonder what card that is actually. I wish I had like actual lists for these, but because sometimes the picture's just so hard to see. Now a lot of people are citing 3 anti-spell and 3 D-barrier. And even at these YCSs, I've noticed a lot more people gravitate towards like a 6 of going first side, where they're citing like 3 Solemns, 3 D-barriers, or 3 anti-spell, 3 D-barrier. So it's really not cool to see, because you know you'd rather just have decks not side all these floodgates that are just auto wins going first if you draw them, because you know going second is when you really want to win. Going first, your engine's really just supposed to carry you there, but if you're running all these floodgates, then it's like if you win the dice roll and you win game 1, you really just won the match, because you just need one of those floodgates out of the 6 out of the side. Now we have an elemental hero list actually getting 5th. With the 2 of main rivalry, so sometimes a lot of these decks, I always see those like random floodgates in the main. We actually see droplets. So droplets has actually came up way more recently than I've ever seen it in like the last 6 months. Droplets really fell off, but I've actually started to see it kind of creep in there with more decks maining it. Only 2 of Book of Eclipse. These ratios are really weird with 2 Book of Eclipse, 2 Imperm. Don't know what that trap card is. 2 Ash Blossom too. Yeah, it's just so weird. Especially with Pearly, I understand the 2 of logic, because it's like, you know, you can draw them with Sleepy, and then you want to spread your hard once per turn hand trap interruptions. But this deck is pretty weird to me. We side 2 Nibiru too, only 2. We side the 3rd rivalry at least with our 3 D barriers for going first. Side the 2 Cosmics with the Feather Duster, so not that much spell and trap removal, especially since we don't already have Bell. And then 3 evenly matched. We also play 2 DPE. This deck looks really fun. I would definitely play it. We also have the Neos brick in the main, which is pretty cool, but it helps for fusion fodder. We were running 1 of Miracle Fusion too. Yeah, and then 3 of Fusion Destiny. That's pretty good. Alright, and then we have Labyrinth. So this Labyrinth deck is actually not what we've seen a lot of, where we see a lot of like the hand traps, like the Kuklok, or basically the 2 hand traps that set 1 normal trap from your deck, or the set 1 normal Labyrinth trap from your deck. This one's actually just going all out in floodgates, more along the lines of an Eldritch deck, but he's got a lot of like crazy 1 of floodgates for continuous cards going first. So he's got 1 of anti-spell, 1 of summon limit. With cards like Eradicator and D-Barrier, this makes sense because you can actually search them. But with a card like anti-spell, summon limit, would you really want those cards spread? And then we have like random 2 of Gozen, 2 of Scodrain, 3 of Solemn. I mean, 2 of Scodrain can make sense, I guess. But it does seem kind of weird. And then we have only 2 regular welcome, 1 IDP, so 1 D barrier. So we got all the floodgate normal traps for going first. 2 super polys. That's pretty crazy. 2 drolls, 2 kaijus, only 2. You can bounce them back. That's pretty cool. The Mud Dragon and the 2 Garuras for the super polys. So definitely don't summon 2 fire sidekicks against me. We have the BLS link. And then we have this card that we saw earlier in the Dogmatica Maximus deck. The side deck's also looking pretty weird. I'm sure this is just a time card, would be my guess. 3 of Solemn, 2 Lava Golems, which is just a better going second card for sure. And then we have a Pearly list. So Pearly is actually really good. It's kind of more retro because we're still maining the 3 Droll, which we've seen really fall off. Droll and Leopard has just fallen off, but we do see it in a lot of these lists for this regional, and pretty much in other regionals as well. We do have the 3 of Lava Golems. We saw Chris or Kamal were citing these as well. We have the 4 Bestial package, and the 3 designators. So a lot of these Pearly lists are actually starting to look a lot similar. This one's still running 3 of the Field Spell in the main deck, along with only 2 Book of Moon and only 2 Prosperity. I love 3 Prosperity. I also think Book of Eclipse is just strictly better than Book of Moon. And then we got a Mech deck with all the hand traps actually perfectly at the bottom. That's 13 hand traps, Archfiend Empress. So this deck can actually run a lot of non-engine. I definitely think Mech is still really strong. They're doing the Firewall package. For the going first play, that can actually be weak to Nibiru, unfortunately. And Nibiru has definitely crept in the format a lot more. This deck is actually setting 3 across the Designator too, which I think is kind of interesting, because maybe why not main it when you have all this non-engine for going second. But yeah, it's always cool to see a Mech actually get top 8, because I actually think Mech is really good right now still. Even though it hasn't performed that well, I don't think a lot of people are actually playing it. But yeah, that's all. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe. Also, I'm going to have a big, well-edited combo tutorial for the new Pendulum cards, because I've just been pretty much spending a lot of time messing with those, because I just think they're so broken and I want to know what's good. Maybe some cards I would want to invest, because that combo is just insane. The 2 new Magic Spectre cards are crazy. So if you want to stay tuned for that, please subscribe. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.